All right, get ready to dive into a world that's both bizarre and beautiful.
Sounds intriguing.
We're talking about Jellyfish Lake in Palau.
Oh, wow.
You know, picture a lake absolutely packed with millions of jellyfish.
Millions.
But these aren't just any jellyfish.
Right.
These are golden jellyfish.
Oh, cool.
So the question is, how do so many jellyfish manage to survive in such a tiny, enclosed lake?
That is a really good question.
And that's what we're going to unpack today.
Awesome.
I'm really excited to dive into this.
Me too.
So,
Yeah, this jellyfish lake is fascinating.
Yeah.
It's like this microcosm of evolution.
oh, okay.
So this lake, it's less than 0.1 square kilometers.
Wow, it's tiny.
Yeah, and it's been cut off from the ocean for about 12,000 years.
12,000 years.
Yeah, so it's basically an evolutionary pressure cooker.
So much time for nature to experiment.
Exactly.
So what's the secret to the golden jellyfish success?
Oh, it's not what you'd expect.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
You see, these jellyfish have evolved this unique survival strategy that hinges on a symbiotic partnership
Symbiotic partnership.
with algae
Oh,
living inside their tissues.
wait, algae living inside the jellyfish.
Yeah,
That sounds like science fiction.
pretty wild.
Can you maybe paint us the picture of the lake itself?
Sure.
What makes it so unique?
So imagine you're diving into this lake.
Okay.
The top 15 meters
Yeah.
are almost like a regular lake.
Okay.
Sunlight, oxygen.
Right.
That's where all the jellyfish congregate.
Makes sense.
But as you descend deeper,
Okay.
the environment takes a dramatic turn.
Oh.
The bottom 15 meters,
Yeah.
completely devoid of oxygen.
Oh, wow.
And it's saturated with toxic hydrogen sulfide.
So we've got sunshine and jellyfish at the top
Right.
and a toxic danger zone at the bottom.
Yeah.
What's happening in between?
That's where it gets really interesting.
Okay, I'm all ears.
There's this distinct layer
Okay.
of what's called purple sulfur bacteria.
Purple sulfur bacteria.
Yeah, and these bacteria, they're incredibly unique.
Okay, how so?
They use both sunlight and that toxic hydrogen sulfide to survive.
No way.
Yeah. And get this, they're so densely packed that they completely block sunlight from reaching the lake bottom.
So they're creating like a permanent layer of darkness.
Exactly. It's eternally dark down there.
Wow. This lake is already more complex than I imagined.
Right.
So we have this layered lake,
Yeah.
sunlit at the top,
Mm-hmm.
toxic and dark at the bottom,
Yeah,
separated by a curtain of bacteria.
that's a great way to put it.
Now let's talk about the stars of the show.
Okay.
These golden jellyfish.
Right.
What makes them so special?
Well, for starters, these golden jellyfish aren't even a separate species.
Oh.
At least not yet.
Okay.
They're a subspecies of the spotted jellyfish.
Okay.
But they've been isolated in this lake for so long.
Right. 12,000 years.
Yeah, they've developed some really striking differences.
Like what?
Well, for one, no spots.
Okay.
And their tentacles are shorter than their ocean-dwelling relatives. But their most captivating feature is their golden color,
Yeah. That's what makes them so unique.
which comes from, wait for it, algae living inside them.
Hold on. You're saying they're golden glows from algae?
Yep.
What kind of algae are we talking about?
They're called zooxanthellae.
Zooxanthellae.
Yeah, and they're the key to the golden jellyfish survival.
Okay, I'm listening.
These zooxanthellae, they live inside the jellyfish's tissues,
Hmm.
photosynthesizing and producing food.
Oh, so they're providing food for the jellyfish.
Exactly, essentially sugars.
Wow.
It's a win-win situation.
How so?
The jellyfish provide a safe haven and access to nutrients,
Right.
while the algae provide a constant source of energy.
So it's like a built-in solar-powered food factory.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
That's incredible.
It is.
But how does this algae partnership explain the sheer number of jellyfish in such a small lake?
That's a good question.
Like, is there really enough sunlight, even with this internal food source, to support millions of them?
That's where the jellyfish's daily routine becomes crucial.
Okay, their daily routine.
Yeah, remember, these jellyfish are entirely dependent on their zooxanthellae.
Right, they can't eat anything else.
Exactly. Their entire life revolves around maximizing sunlight exposure.
For their algae roommates.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, I'm officially hooked. Tell me everything about this jellyfish daily grind.
All right, so picture this every morning as the sun rises in the east. Millions of golden jellyfish begin a mass migration from the west side of the lake to the east.
They're following the sun's path.
Exactly. Then in the afternoon, they make the return journey following the setting sun back to the west.
So they're constantly chasing the best light.
Pretty much.
That's amazing. They're like little sun-seeking submarines.
I like that.
But do they just passively float along, or is there more to this sun-worshipping routine?
Oh, there's definitely more.
Okay, tell me more.
As they swim, they slowly rotate,
Okay.
almost like a perfectly synchronized water ballet. Wow. This ensures that every side of their body gets maximum exposure to the sunlight for those precious algae.
Wow, so they're like rotating so all their algae can get some sun.
Exactly, but it doesn't stop. Their nighttime routine is even more fascinating.
Let's spill the secrets. What are these dedicated algae farmers up to under the cover of darkness?
So when night falls, the golden jellyfish embark on a vertical migration.
A vertical migration.
Yeah, they dive down into those deeper, nutrient-rich layers of the lake.
But those are the layers filled with that deadly hydrogen sulfide.
Right.
Are you telling me they're willingly swimming into a toxic death trap?
Pretty much.
Why would they risk that?
It's all about keeping their algae partners happy.
Okay.
Remember, those deeper layers are rich in nitrogen and phosphorus,
Right.
essential nutrients for the algae.
So the jellyfish are diving down to fertilize their internal gardens.
Exactly. It's a nightly dance with danger.
Swimming up and down, venturing into toxic waters just to keep their algae well fed.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible how much their lives revolve around this symbiotic relationship.
It really highlights the power of adaptation.
Absolutely.
These jellyfish have evolved this incredible, albeit risky strategy to thrive in this unusual environment.
It really is a delicate balance.
Which reminds me of what happened in 1998
Oh, right.
when El Nino warmed the lake
Yeah.
and tragically wiped out the algae and consequently all the jellyfish.
It was a devastating event.
It's a stark reminder of how interconnected everything is in this delicate ecosystem.
It really is. It really shows how life finds a way, you know?
It does.
Even in the face of these seemingly insurmountable challenges.
Yeah, and it underscores the importance of understanding these delicate balances, in nature.
Absolutely.
I'm struck by the irony of it all. Millions of jellyfish trapped in this tiny lake, their entire existence dedicated to catering to their algae overlords. It's a bit humbling, isn't it?
It does make you think, doesn't it?
It does?
Like, it challenges our assumptions about what it means to be an animal. These jellyfish have essentially become solar-powered, relying entirely on their internal algae farms for survival. It makes you wonder, are there other examples of such unusual symbiotic relationships out there?
Oh, I'm sure there are countless examples just waiting to be discovered.
Yeah.
It really highlights the incredible diversity of life on our planet
Mm-hmm.
and the creative ways that organisms have adapted to survive.
Absolutely. And speaking of adaptation, something just occurred to me.
Okay.
If these golden jellyfish are so reliant on sunlight, what happens on cloudy days?
Oh, that's a great question. I hadn't even considered that.
Do they just sit around and twiddle their tentacles?
Right. What do they do when their solar power is interrupted?
Well, remember that layer of purple sulfur bacteria we talked about?
Right, the bacteria that live in the middle layer of the lake, blocking sunlight from reaching the bottom?
Exactly. Those bacteria play a crucial role even on cloudy days.
Okay.
They're constantly producing a small amount of light through their metabolic processes. It's not as strong as sunlight, but it's enough to keep the zooxanthellae ticking over.
So it's like a backup generator for their little algae farms.
Exactly. Nature's pretty ingenious.
It is. It seems like every element of this lake is interconnected, with each organism playing a vital role in the ecosystem.
Precisely, from the jellyfish to the algae to the bacteria, each component contributes to this delicate web of life. And it really underscores the potential consequences of even small changes to the environment.
Right.
A slight increase in water temperature, for example, can have cascading effects throughout the entire system.
Which brings us back to the 1998 El Nino event.
Yeah.
A stark reminder of how vulnerable specialized environments like Jellyfish Lake can be to climate change.
Yeah, absolutely. Jellyfish Lake is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Oh, wow.
And for good reason. It's a living laboratory offering invaluable insights into evolution, and the interconnectedness of life. Protecting this unique ecosystem is crucial, not just for the golden jellyfish, but for the lessons it can teach us about our planet's delicate balance.
Thinking about the golden jellyfish's resilience, I'm starting to think maybe tragic isn't the right word to describe their existence. Sure, their lives are devoted to their symbiotic partners, but they've clearly thrived in this environment for thousands of years.
I agree. It's all a matter of perspective.
Right.
From a human standpoint, their lives might seem limited.
Yeah.
But from an evolutionary perspective, they're incredibly successful.
Right. They've carved out this niche in this unique environment and found a way to flourish against all odds.
Exactly.
And they bounced back from a catastrophic die-off, which is more than we can say. For many other species facing similar threats, their story is ultimately one of adaptation, survival, and the extraordinary power of symbiosis.
It really is, and it raises an interesting question for us listeners who aren't golden jellyfish living in a strange layered lake.
Yeah, what can we learn from their story?
That's a great question. I think the biggest takeaway is the interconnectedness of all living things.
Yeah.
What happens in one part of an ecosystem can have ripple effects throughout the entire system.
It also highlights the importance of protecting these unique and fragile environments like Jellyfish Lake.
Absolutely.
It's a treasure trove of biodiversity,
Yeah.
and ensuring its survival for future generations is crucial.
I couldn't agree more. And on a personal level, I think it's a reminder to stay curious and never stop exploring the wonders of the natural world.
That's a good one.
You never know what amazing discoveries await you.
Well said. And who knows, maybe somewhere out there, there's another equally bizarre and fascinating symbiotic relationship just waiting to be discovered. The natural world is full of surprises, and we've only just begun to scratch the surface.
You know, this whole conversation has got me thinking, what if we humans
Yeah.
took a page from the golden jellyfish's playbook?
Oh, interesting.
They've basically mastered sustainable living, right?
In a way.
They get their energy from a renewable source, the sun,
Right.
and they've created this closed-loop system where their waste products actually benefit their food source.
That's true.
It's a pretty ingenious model. Yeah, you're right. There are definitely some parallels there.
Yeah.
Nature often holds the solutions, to
Mhm.
a lot of our challenges.
For sure.
And the golden jellyfish offer a compelling example of sustainable, living, symbiotic relationships.
What if we could harness the power of algae like that?
It's an interesting thought.
Not just for food, but maybe for fuels or other resources.
Yeah, the potential applications are vast.
It's pretty mind-boggling.
It is, and it just speaks to the importance of studying these unique ecosystems,
Right.
learning from nature's wisdom.
This deep dive into the world of the golden jellyfish has been a fascinating journey.
It really has.
We started with a simple question. How do millions of jellyfish survive in a tiny enclosed lake?
And we discovered a story of remarkable adaptation, symbiotic survival, and the delicate balance of nature.
It's a reminder that even in the most unexpected places, life finds a way.
It's true.
It's a call to action for all of us to appreciate the interconnectedness of life and work towards a more sustainable future.
Well said. I think that's a great point to leave our listeners with.
Yeah.
The golden jellyfish, these seemingly simple creatures, offer us a profound lesson in resilience, adaptability, and the power of symbiosis.
So next time you're feeling overwhelmed by the challenges facing our planet, think of the golden jellyfish.
Good advice.
They figured out a pretty amazing way to thrive.
They have.
And maybe, just maybe, they can inspire us to do the same.
I hope so.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. And remember, the natural world is full of wonders just waiting to be discovered.